dam stood there like a concrete giant, holding back the waters of the subtropical river. It was brand new and had been operating only a matter of days. Silhouetted against the sky, its power lines transmitted power for new industrial plants and light over the villages and cities. Suddenly, a strange, solitary figure appeared underwater at the base of this huge dam, near the big intake valves, the heart of the structure through which flowed the water that generated its force and energy. Soon, in the deadly hands of this mysterious intruder was to rest the fate of the dam itself and the lives of hundreds of people, including my own. I'd received a call from the local office of the American company which had built the dam. It was urgent. They asked me to come prepared to travel immediately.
This dam means a lot to us, Nelson. We're proud of it. Sort of a pet project. We built it despite flies, heat, rain, no roads, unskilled labor. But it means more to the people down there. It's a small country and they're dirt poor. This project will wake up their whole economy, bring them some decent living. It'll make them our friends. We don't want to see that dam hurt. See how isolated it is?
Ah, boy, I'll say. That's right in the middle of the desert.
Right. On the surface, it's absolutely secure. Oh, minor things can happen, but nothing big. The dam's like a fortress. Nothing less than an atom bomb could even scratch it. But we may be vulnerable at one point.
Underwater?
Right. And there have been disturbing rumors that an unidentified diver has been seen in the vicinity.
Oh?
Call it a hunch, but we need your help.
Well, okay. You've got it.
Good. I feel better already.
When do I leave? I flew all night and the next day on my way south, past the Panama Canal and into the subtropics. Switching over to an amphib, I flew inland to the site of the dam. The lake was a whopper.
Why, those desk-bound, homegrown, stateside executives, so that's the way they want it. Well, that's just great. Finch, we got a new boss.
The letter reads temporary underwater authority, Mr. Turner.
Just plain chief will do.
Okay, Chief.
Look, Mr. Nelson, I got a little speech to make. I built that dam. She's my baby. I know every pound of concrete and every foot of steel in her. She's as strong as Gibraltar and just as safe. Nothing's going to get to that dam. So you can just pick up your gear and hightail it back to the Home Office.
I'm sorry, Chief. But as long as I'm here, the underwater security of that dam is going to be my responsibility. When I leave, it can be yours again. If it's still standing.
What do you mean, if it's still standing?
Well, there's already been some damage, hasn't there?
Oh, penny ante stuff. Happens everywhere.
What happens everywhere?
The government that's in, and it's a good one, they'll get the credit for building the dam. And it'll keep them in. The boys that are out are just trying to foul up the boys that are in. Just like it is back in the States.
I think they played a little rougher here.
We don't have any real problems, Mr. Nelson. As a matter of fact, we're getting ready for the dedication ceremonies.
Oh? When's that going to be?
3 or 4 days. All the local brass is going to gather on top of the dam. Cut a ribbon or something.
Well, about now might be a good time for them to foul up the ends, don't you think?
That might be. But like I told you, everything is secure from top to bottom. Why, Finch here just made an underwater patrol this morning.
I'd like to take a look at that underwater installation.
Now?
Now.
The chief just told you I inspected those underwater installations.
Hold it, Finch. Mr. Nelson has a letter of authority. Floro! Get his gear aboard. All right, let's get going.
On the way to the dam, I asked some questions concerning its mechanical operation. I got answers, but they were crisp and short. Finch, in particular, seemed to resent my sudden intrusion into his private underwater domain. In a way, I could hardly blame him. The water was cold and remarkably clear. I could see by the way Finch handled himself that he was a top-flight underseaman. We arrived at the first of what proved to be 4 intake towers. I checked the safety belts, which Finch had reluctantly briefed me on, before we went below. They had been installed so that on tours of inspection, a diver wouldn't be sucked into the intake openings. At each valve was an instrument designed to measure the rate of flow. Inside the valve itself was the mechanism that controlled the rate of flow, to speed it up, reduce it, or shut it off entirely. I'd been warned about the powerful inward force of the water. Although this particular valve was apparently operating at minimum capacity, the suction was still very strong. Finch's demonstration left very little doubt of that. The safety belt proved to be a welcome friend. I ventured into the valve. It was an eerie feeling, like being pulled into a bottomless undersea grave. Without a safety belt, a diver'd be finished in a split second. We checked all the valves closely. Apparently, everything was in excellent working order. The dam, from the underwater point of view, was secure. For the moment.
Everything meet with your approval?
It sure does. Oh, that's a huge operation you got down there.
Yeah, and it's perfectly safe. Just like I told you.
That's a huge, magnificent structure. A thing of beauty from top to bottom. Man can be proud of that. It's kind of a monument to his life.
Well, I suppose so.
I guess if it were my dam, I'd resent it too. If a stranger came barging in and tried to tell me how to run it, or to protect it.
Sorry about the little blow-up in the pier.
I understand.
Anything I can do to help you, just sound off.
I asked the chief to show me around the area. The lake was new and unfamiliar to me, and I wanted to get a good look at it. To get under the water, a man has to start from the surface, and I wanted to see if the lake was as secure above as it seemed to be below. The area adjacent to the dam itself checked out clear. The Palisades were bleak and lonesome. No signs of life. We checked a few of the dozens of coves spaced out on the hills. We were just about to head back when I saw a boat, an empty dinghy. Nobody in it or near it. It seemed curious to me.
That boat out there, isn't it a little too close to the dam? Or you're out of bounds?
Well, there are a lot of native boats around. We can't check them all. Besides, there's nobody aboard.
That's what bothers me. I'm going to set up a constant patrol for those valves. We'll alternate the watch. I'll take the first watch.
I'm all familiar with this area. I'll take the first one.
It's my job. I'll take the first one.
Now, look here, Nelson. Don't act like we never did anything right.
Hold it, Finch. An order's an order.
On my way to inspect the valves, I swam through a school of piranha. I was mighty glad that I had my wetsuit and gloves on, so I wouldn't arouse their hunger. These deadly little razor-toothed fish can tear a man apart in minutes. The first valve that I checked, something was dead wrong. Hanging from a spike was a large galvanized iron box. Finch and I had just inspected the area, and in the brief time that we were away, somebody had moved fast. I immediately thought of the empty dinghy. I think I knew what was in the box the moment that I saw it. I was almost afraid to open it.
He's been down there a long time.
Well, maybe he got pulled into one of the valves.
My fear was confirmed. It was dynamite. Apparently, the saboteur had gone back for a second load. This was a big dam. He needed a big charge to do his job. I wanted to wait so that I could intercept him when he returned, but my air supply was about exhausted. I removed the dynamite, but left the box so the saboteur wouldn't immediately know that he'd been discovered. I needed every second.
There's your Penny Annie stuff, Chief. Put on your gear. We need some full tanks. Get your binocs, Chief. Scan the lake for bubbles. Hurry up with my tanks. Okay, help him, huh? That's fine. He's working on valve number 4. He's probably on his way back now with another load of dynamite. So we'll head straight for number 4, huh?
Why don't we intercept him?
No, it's no good. If we miss him, and he gets there before we do, we're in for trouble.
Mike! Bubbles!
Where?
Right off the stern, about 50 yards from the dam and heading straight for it.
All right, now, Finch. When we get down there, I'll give you a signal. You circle around and come in from behind him, okay?
Check.
All right, make it fast.
Strong. Not only were we fighting each other, we were fighting the pressure of the water which pulled us towards the valve. At any moment, I expected Finch to arrive. Then I saw Finch, preparing to fire. He didn't, though. The dynamiter and I were too close to each other. Finch was afraid that he'd hit me, I figured. Suddenly, I felt a pulling motion. The dynamiter had cut his own line, thinking that it was mine, and was being drawn into the valve. I tried to save him, but the inward pull of the water was too strong, and he disappeared into the blackness. I looked over at Finch. He had the spear gun aimed right at me. Finch was the key man in this terrifying attempt to blow up the dam. He was on the inside. He'd had clear sailing until I arrived on the scene. I didn't know why he was trying to destroy the dam, but at the moment I didn't have time to find out.
Give me a spear gun. Go back down below. There's more dynamite down there. Keep your eye on him. He's responsible for this whole thing.
All right. You keep an eye on him. I'm going down the cabin and get the gun.
I wanted to remove that dynamite as quickly as possible. I had to act fast because my air was getting low. It was the final act on a rough day. Or so I thought. The day wasn't over yet. I was soon to find that out. I dropped my tanks, hoping that Finch would focus on the bubbles, so I could approach the boat from the opposite direction.
Well, he's about out of air. Runs out, he's got to come up. Does he gets it. If he doesn't, he's already had it. He's had it. Let's pull up anchor and head for the dam. We can finish the job. There's plenty of this stuff left. Be a lot of money in it for us. We'll drop him on the way in. All right, get going.
I left Lauro floundering around in the lake and looked around for Finch.
Hey, how you doing with that anchor up there? Let's get going. How about it up there? What's holding us up?
Been an awful lot of money involved in all this. Who do you suppose was behind it? The outs?
I imagine so, the way he talked about it. Can't understand it, Mike. I'd have trusted him with my life. I thought he was my best friend.
Cheer up, Chief. You've still got your best friend.
Huh?
I'll be back next week at the same time with another sea hunt story. Plan to be with us again, huh?